to start with, we're going to sit nice and comfortably, cross-legged if you can, or kneeling if you prefer. But wherever you are, I want you to really just sort of make sure you are balanced. So get both sitting bones pressed down to the ground. Get the shoulders relaxed. You'd be amazed at how many people sort of sit with one shoulder up, particularly if we've spent the morning on the phone like this, or with the mouse like that. So just give the shoulders a little roll down, release them. And take the hands and place them down onto the knees and face the palms inwards. So we're not placing the palms to receive, we're actually going to just focus on ourselves for the next half an hour. And when you're ready, just closing the eyes or lowering them if you prefer. And just find the breath. Define that gentle inhale and exhale. Just feel the cooler air coming in through the nose and the warmer air going out through the nose. And as you find the breath, the mind might be chatting away as it likes to do. So just give yourself permission to let go of thoughts, anything that you're thinking about doing later or anything that's happened today. Just acknowledge the thoughts and then let them pass, come back to the breath. Just focusing on that inhale and the exhale. And as you feel the inhale coming into the body, find a lovely long spine with the crown of the head pulling towards the sky. As you exhale, just letting go of the shoulders and of the jaw. Just finding that balance between strength pulling you up to a gorgeous tall spine and the softness relaxing the shoulders. Finding that you can be both strong and soft at the same time. Begin to deepen the breath. Let's invite some really gorgeous inhaling and blow it out through the mouth. Inhaling that fresh prana energy and exhaling anything that we just don't want to hold on to. And see if we can have an equal inhale to exhale. So you might take a few moments just to count it, counting as you inhale, counting as you exhale, and allowing that breath to be balanced. It might be a count of 4, 6, maybe even up to 10. There's no right, there's no wrong. Taking 3 more deep inhales in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then just release a little bit of that control. Allow the breath to settle into a nice natural rhythm. In through the nose and out through the nose. Wonderful. We're going to take the hands down to the sides of the body. You're going to plant the right hand down onto the ground. We're going to inhale, left arm up and over. And then as you exhale, side stretching over to the right. Just opening up the side of the body. And just take your awareness down to the sitting bones. If one is lifted up, can you bring it back down? Want equal pressure between the right and the left sit bones. On an inhale, we're going to windmill up, bring the right arm up and go over to the left as you exhale. Lovely. And again, you might find that the right side is now lifted up, so pull that back down. Gently finding that pressure between both sitting bones. We're going to inhale, take it back over to the right as you exhale. This time, just allow the neck to release. Let the head go heavy. Find a bit of release in the neck, maybe just gently moving forwards and backwards. Then inhale, and as you exhale, windmill over to the left. And again, let the head go. Gentle little movements there. Releasing the neck, particularly if you've been sat at a desk this morning. Let's inhale. I want you to take both arms up. And then as you exhale, we're just going to bring the hands down, wriggle the fingers, rotate the wrists. And then give the shoulders just a little bit of a roll. Lovely. And then let's come over onto your hands and knees. Let's find tabletop position. So you want your knees about hip distance, hands underneath the shoulders, and find that nice flat back, tummy muscles gently pulling in. And then notice the weight between the hands and the feet. Let's get that sense of balance that your hands and knees and feet are all pressing into the ground. And maybe notice that you might lean over to one side ever so slightly and just making corrections to get that centre. I'm going to go through some cat tilts just to warm up the spine, but keeping the sense of the Mula Bandha being up, so gentle pull of the pelvic floor, tummy muscles engaged. We're going to inhale, point the bottom, lift the chest, come into a little arch. As you exhale, you're going to round the back, drop the head. Let's inhale, take it up. So push that chest forward, bottom comes up. As you exhale, round the back, let the head go heavy. Inhale, bring it through, pulling shoulder blades together. Exhale, round the back. Just take a few more in your own time. So follow your breath, close the eyes and really just get into the body. Let's see where we're feeling any tension, any looseness. Taking one or two more. And then when you're ready, coming back to a nice flat back to a tabletop position. We're going to fire up the core and get a little bit of balance going. So I want you to take the right leg back, hook the toes onto the floor. So you've got a nice long leg, just opening up the hamstrings, the calf muscles. We're then going to lift that right leg up off the ground. If you feel confident, you're going to take the left arm up and point it towards the front. So your leg is going one way, arm is going the other. Nice and balanced and sucking in those core muscles towards the spine. Lovely. Take a couple more breaths. Then let's exhale, bring it back down to centre. Remember, you can always come off the wrist, give them a little rotate if they're feeling a little bit tense. And then find our tabletop once again, and we'll take that onto the other side. So left leg stretches back. Tuck the toes under for a moment. Just feel the back of the leg. And then lifting up, pulling in those tummy muscles. And then if and when you're ready, take the right arm up. Lovely. Keep the breath going steady. Feel how balanced you are. Then on an exhale, bring the hands down and then just sit back on the knees. Again, give those wrists a little shake. Getting the blood pumping, wriggle the fingers. Fabulous. Finding a nice, long, tall spine. We're going to sit up, gently sending sitting bones down. So there is like a little tuck almost of the pelvis under. So you've got a nice, long spine. Fabulous. We're going to bring the arms up to shoulder height, and we're going to just take a brief eagle arms to just open up the shoulders. So you're going to take the right arm underneath the left and bend it up. You're then going to bend the left arm. Backs of the hands might come towards each other, or you might be able to press the palms together. Take a moment to lift the elbows just to shoulder height if you can, no higher. And breathe steady. Just feel the back and the shoulder blades opening up. Nice equal breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Let's unwind the arms. Give it a little shrug. Let's take that onto the other side. So bringing the arms up again, shoulder height. Take the left arm under the right. Bend it through, bend up the left. Hands or backs of the hands come together. Now you might find on this side it's completely inaccessible, or it's different from the other side. And there's no judgment. We might just be that little bit unbalanced. Bringing those elbows up ever so slightly, sending the shoulder blades away from each other, breathing equally. Lovely. Let's unwind the arms. Again, give them a nice roll. And then we're going to come back down to our tabletop position. And find the knees on the floor, the feet gently pressing into the ground, so you've got that nice sense of balance. We're going to take the hands just ever so slightly forward, so we're going to come into our downward facing dog. So hook the toes under, let's push up and over. And then just take a nice walk of the dog, so bending one knee, then the other. Let the head go heavy. Give it a little nod, yes, a little shake, no. And then send the sitting bones right up to the sky. Pull the heels back and imagine that your chest is being pulled towards your thighs, and your thighs are being pulled to the back of the room. And feel the pressure in your hands, feel the pressure in your feet. And can you make that a little more equal? Is all the weight in the arms? Is all the weight in the legs? Have a little play around with that balance. Nice, deep, equal breaths. Then from here, if you feel confident, we're going to take the right leg up and back and bend the knee. If that doesn't feel right for you, come to tabletop and do the same thing. We're then going to take that knee round in circles. They can be big, they can be little, but we're going to open up the hips, but at the same time, I want you to be noticing the weight in the hands. Have we moved over to one side to compensate? Let's take the knee round in the opposite direction. And then stretch the toes up to the sky and bring it back down. Back into your downward facing dog. Take a nice big breath. And then let's take that onto the left hand side. So left leg up, bend that knee, and then rotate the hip. Again, staying in downward dog, or come to your tabletop. Listen to your body. Keep the pressure in the hands equal. Let's take the knee round the opposite direction. And then stretch the toes to the sky and come all the way down, back into your downward facing dog. We're then going to start to bend the knees slightly, walk the hands back until you come into a little squat position. So your heels might be lifted, they might be flat on the ground. You could have a little shuffle from side to side. Just find where you feel comfortable. The knees are pointing out, the toes will be slightly pointing out, they don't need to point forward. And bring the hands either to the floor to give you that little extra balance, or if you're feeling it, bring the palms together. You can gently push the knees away from each other with the elbows. And keep the chin level with the floor and pull the body up so you're still nice and strong in the chest, in the belly. Nice long breaths. We're really opening up the hips. Great if we're sitting down a lot. If you've lifted the hands, bring them to the floor. We're going to take the left hand and just place it in the centre of the feet. So it's still in front of you, but it's in the middle. We're then going to inhale and open the right arm up. Open the chest, maybe look up to the sky if that feels okay on the neck. Couple of breaths there. And then bring it back down. Let's swap that over. So right hand into the centre. Inhale. Left arm up. Opening the chest now. Fantastic. Let's exhale back down to centre. We're going to bring both hands down, just supporting yourself ever so slightly, and then we're going to start to lift the bottom, come into a forward fold, and the feet can be just a little bit wider than hip distance. Just let yourself hang. And so the knees are ever so slightly bent. We don't want to lock out the joints. Hang the body And if it feels comfortable, maybe bring the hands to the opposite elbows. Come into your ragdoll position. And you could even have a little swing from side to side. Wonderful. That's great. Release the hands from the elbows. Bring them to the floor or to the shins if they're not quite meeting the floor. I want you to walk the feet towards each other so that they're just under the hips, so about hip distance apart. And then we're going to inhale, come halfway up, hands to shins, nice flat back. Head is pointing towards the front, so crown of the head is pulling towards the screen, gaze is down to your mat. I want you to move the weight forward into the fronts of the feet. And so this is a bit of a balance. It will also activate the hamstrings and the calf muscles. It can feel quite nice. Really send it forward to the point where you can't send it forward anymore. And then let's send the weight backwards into the heels. Not too far so that we land on our bums. Maybe lift the toes up off the floor. Give them a little spread. And then I want you to just rock gently back and forward until you find the points where the weight feels completely equal in your feet. And just notice how that feels. Take a nice big breath. Really send the crown of the head away from the hips. Lovely long back. As you exhale, fold it back down. Let it hang. You're going to place the hands on the floor. So bend the knees if you need to. And step it back into your downward facing dog. Again, you can give the neck a little shake. And then from downward dog, we're going to move forward into a plank position. So I want you to send the weight of the body forward. Now you can either bring the knees down, come into a half plank, or you can be in a full plank with the knees lifted. Whichever feels right for you. Now if you're onto the knees, make sure the knees aren't underneath the hips because that's a tabletop position. Take the knees right back so that the weight is in the arms. You can feel that tension in the tummy. Fabulous. And then we're going to roll ourselves all the way down to the floor. I want you to make sure the hands are underneath the shoulders. On an inhale, you're gently going to lift the head and the chest into a little cobra. So there's no pressure on the hands. We're not pushing ourselves up. I want you to just use the tummy muscles, the back muscles, push the hips into the floor, roll the shoulders towards each other and breathe nice and deeply. Feel both hips pushing down to the ground. Connect the feet with the floor. And then let's exhale all the way down. Tuck the toes under. You're going to push up onto the knees and then slowly walk yourself back to a child's pose. Take a moment there. Just breathe nice and equal breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. On your next inhale, lift yourself up to sit down onto the knees. So we're just very briefly kneeling. And then we're going to just do one more pose to just work into the hips before we move down to the floor. So we're going to come into mermaid pose. So you're going to slide yourself off. You can start onto the left-hand side. And then I want you to bring the left leg so it's parallel with, well, it might be the long edge of your mat, it might be the short edge. I'm not quite sure where you all are on the mats. But it's a long ways in front of you. And then the right leg, the thighs gently connected to the left foot. And you look somewhat like a mermaid sat on a rock, hence the pose name. Find a nice tall spine. And then we're going to take the right hand to the left knee and twist away from the legs. Look over that back shoulder if that feels comfortable on the neck. And so we're having a nice twist, we're opening the chest and we're working into the hips. You might find that that right sitting bone has lifted off the floor, and that's fine, but can you try to encourage it to come down? And when you're ready on your next inhale, bring yourself back and exhale. Easiest way to get to the other side is just sweep the legs round the front and find your mermaid position on this side. So that right leg is now straight in front of you across the body. The left leg is curled back. Again, nice tall spine, crown of the head pulling towards the sky. Take the left hand to the right knee and gently twist yourself away from the legs. Looking over that back shoulder. Nice long breath. And then on your inhale, bring it back round to centre. Bring both legs out in front of you. Make sure you're in the middle of the mat or towards the front of the mat so you can roll back down. So again, I always give you an option of how you'd like to do this. We're going to roll to lying down on the mat so you can support yourself with your hands, gently lower. You can hold onto the backs of your thighs, engage the tummy muscles and roll all the way down. Or you can have a little bit of fun, hold onto the shins and roll yourself back down onto the ground. We're going to bring the knees into the chest and give them a nice big hug into the body. Maybe a little rock from side to side. Just find the back, the shoulders on the ground, connecting with the floor. Have a little rock around. Make sure the shoulders are equal. The back is pressed down onto the ground equally. And then very gently allow the legs to come down. And you can find either a long body on the floor, or you could have the knees bent. Arms gently away from the body. And just make sure that your arms are equal distance, your legs are equal distance away from each other. Your shoulders are relaxed equally. Can you feel the sitting bones gently pressed in equally to the ground? And then come back to the breath. And I want you to find that count of breath again. So inhaling, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And continue to count the breath. You might be a bit longer, you might be a bit shorter. But see if you can breathe in equally and exhale out equally. Just gently hear the numbers in your head. And then just gently let the count go. Just allow the breath to be settled, to flow in and out with no effort, no control. Within each of us there is yin and yang, feminine and masculine, passive and active. To have inner harmony, strive to balance all aspects of who you are. To align with your true nature, love, accept and embrace yourself totally and completely. Take your next inhale deeply through the nose and stretch the arms above the head, spreading the fingers, spreading the toes, and as you exhale, bring the hands back down, wiggle the wrists, the fingers, the toes, the ankles. Make some gentle movement to wake the body up. And when you're ready, softly rolling over to your right hand side, pushing yourself up back to a seated position. Just bring the palms together at the heart for one moment. Nod the head down. The mind give way to the body. Thank yourself for turning up today. And knowing that you can come back to yoga to find balance at any point. Namaste.